Now we'll see how this does putting the power down with the snow. Oh, hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the all-new Hyundai Kona EV. Before we get into this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Ken Garf Hyundai here in Southtown, Utah for giving me some time with this Kona EV. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Ryan. And then on a side note, if you save time and money the next time purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So we have a 64 kilowatt hour battery pack paired to a single electric motor. Total range is 258 miles. Power outputs 201 horsepower and then 291 pound-feet of torque. Now before we go to the front end, I do want to mention if you see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting off with the hood, well, there's not much to see because of all the snow, but you guys can see there's kind of two distinctive lines right there. And then coming down below, you guys can see here with the daytime running light, and then you can see the headlight down below, and then that's your charging port there on the front end. And then notice we do have the Hyundai logo as well, and then it's all closed off because, well, it's fully electric. And for those of you wondering, it's really easy to open up the charging port. Just press that and boom, and guess what? We also have fast charging with this, which that's nice. And when you put it all together, other than the charging port obviously kind of being an interesting design touch, it looks pretty good. Coming around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 215, 55, 17 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see with the wheels, they're mostly closed off for aerodynamic efficiency. That's just something that you typically see with EVs nowadays. I do find the fender flare to be pretty interesting with the overall shape and design. And then you can see the mirrors are pretty sharp. That just makes them more aerodynamically efficient. And then all the trim around the windows is all blacked out. And then here's the full side profile on the Kona EV. It pretty much just looks like a regular Kona other than the aerodynamic wheels. So here's a key fob for the Kona EV. We have our lock function unlock. We've got the remote start, and then that is for the horn. And then you guys can see the Hyundai logo there on the back. Now we just have to push this button right here, and then that'll allow us to open up the hatch. Now that we're in the rear here, you guys can see we have the cargo cover already built in from the factory. And then with the seats folded down, we've got quite a bit of storage space back here. And look at this. You got even more storage space underneath. And then when you're all done, you got this little handle you can grab and just throw it right down. We've got the Kona's signature taillights here, and then you guys can see down below, and then all of our badging. And then notice it says electric right there with the other badge. And then you can see the trim here at the bottom. And putting it all together, I do think that the Kona overall is a pretty sporty, cool looking SUV. And so then this in electric form just carries that on. So here's the door panel. It's actually pretty basic from material standpoint, which is pretty interesting, but you can see a little handle there, and then we got our window control and decent storage space. And then here are these seats. Notice with the cloth in the center portion of the seat, how it's kind of like different in terms of the coloration. Get out of the way, snow. There you go, now you can see. Now legroom here in the back, just like a normal Kona. I mean, it's not the best, but you can fit adults back here. And then you see got a USB port and then some more storage. Headroom, however, is actually great. And then, look at this. We got a good old-fashioned cup holder armrest. And then with the front door panel, it's pretty much identical to the rear in terms of the material use and all that. And then we got all of our window controls here, door lock and unlock, mirror adjustments. The mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And then you can see the rest of the storage space there on the panel. And then here are the front seats, really cool cloth design in the center of the seat. And then you can see the power adjustments there on the side. And then notice we got our stability control here for the charging just next to that. So here's a quick look at the steering wheel. You guys can see, again, pretty basic with the material use, but notice we do have our cruise control here with our steering assistance, and then we've got our voice command controls here, volume controls, all of that. And then we do have these paddles here on the back for the regen system. And then we have our turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. So here is the center gauge cluster. First off, I can scroll through a bunch of different pages to see different bits of info on the vehicle. And then obviously you can see whether you're charging the power. And then right here you can see how much range we have currently, and then you can see the battery charge there over on the other side. In reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. As for the rest of the infotainment system, we got all these shortcut buttons here at the bottom, and then notice we have our own EV page right here that we can press. It takes a second to load up, but lets us know that we're at 51% charge. And you guys can see everything there with the charging. So pretty cool that it lets you know on that info. And then as for the rest of the screen, pretty easy to use. Response time is good as well. So not much else to say. I do like this trim here on the dash. That's pretty interesting. Got the vents here. And then notice we got our climate controls. This does have a single zone climate system. Then if we press this, There we go. Got the USB port inside of there, and you guys can see the storage. So we have our transmission selector right here, so you guys can see just a bunch of different buttons, and then we've got a couple cup holders here, and then we have our parking brake. Now right here we've got our controls here for the heated seats, and then we have our auto hold, and then we have our drive mode select. And with that drive mode select, notice that we can go into a sport mode, we've got an eco mode as well, and look at the range. It actually changes in real time with the different drive modes. So you can see if I pop it into sport, it goes down, which is funny. Here's the center console, as you can see. Pretty good storage space, got some nice plastic wrapping on top of that, but anyways, there's your glove box. And then up top we got like a sunglass holder, lighter colored headliner, and then we have a manual mirror dimmer. So there's quite a bit of glare and everything because of the snow, but anyways, there's a 5-year 60,000 mile basic warranty, and then a 10-year 100,000 mile on the powertrain, and then also on the battery stuff. Total MSRP on this one, $35,725, which makes this an affordable EV. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off, and maybe I should move that down a little bit and clear up the window. Oops. Anyways, there's your visibility over the hood. Both mirrors do have blind spot monitoring throughout the rest of the rear, and buttons are weird. Let's set off. So setting off here in this Kona EV, and this is supposed to basically be the same thing, I guess, as the Niro EV. Oh man, that is so harsh with the windshield wiper protectors on. But yeah, it's basically the Niro EV, and I already reviewed that, so it'll be interesting to see how this drives differently or the same compared to the Niro. First off, I think seat comfort's really good. I'm actually going to turn on my heated seat, as well as the passenger one. If you're wondering why I'm turning on the passenger heated seat, it's so I can warm up my camera gear to get some of the snow and water off of it. But yeah, it drives really well. It actually feels pretty much like a Kona. I mean, like, slight difference because the regen, and I can, again, hold down this paddle, and that gets really aggressive with the regen if I really want to slow down. But yeah, I mean, it drives surprisingly normal, which I think is great. And yes, this does have automatic windshield wipers. I just don't want to use them right now. Yeah, the instant power and torque is fantastic. Just gets up at a really smooth pace. Okay, now I got it in the sport setting here. Let's try to not use the brake pedal at all. I stopped, all of that was with the regen system. That was not me at all. That is pretty good. Now we'll see how this does putting the power down with the snow. Oh, it just slipped twice with the traction. So it's decently quick. I mean, you guys heard the power figures. But yeah, being fully electric, yeah, it definitely struggles to put down the power. That is for sure. That's hilarious. I expected that to happen though. Okay, let's see again. Not braking at all, just regen. That's so aggressive. That is awesome. I love that. So, summing things up here with the Kona EV. I think it looks cool because I like the Kona styling, especially for an EV. I just am not a fan of the whole charging port on the front end. I understand that was the engineering team telling the design team, if you want this to be electric, you gotta put the charging port there. And the design team's probably face palming and going, but now it's kind of ugly. It's okay though, it's practical. And then when it comes to the overall driving experience, yeah, it drives just like the Niro, honestly. Same car. I don't really notice a difference with it. Let's see if it'll put down the power. It's just constantly cutting power because it's just constantly slipping. That is hilarious. That's what you get on snowy roads. But I mean, I can at least get up and move. I got that going for me, right? So overall, this is an affordable EV. It doesn't have, I mean, I feel like this interior is actually really nice. All things considered, I love the seats. Some basic material used throughout, but like $35,000. This is what Tesla said they would give us, and they never did. But now we're getting stuff like this from Hyundai, and I mean, it's got solid range. Again, 258 miles of driving range. That's pretty good. So let me know what you guys think about the new Kona EV. I'm actually a pretty big fan because not only is it actually affordable, it's actually a solid offering overall. That's gonna sum things up with our video on this Kona EV. Again, a huge shout out and thanks to the Ken Garf Hyundai here in Southtown, Utah for giving me some time with this Kona. Check out the info in the description down below. I'll see ya.